Hello everybody, I'm Robert Semrow.
And I'm Nikki White.
And we've got a fun episode today. Nikki, this is all about a question that vexes all of us as dog parents, and that is dog food confusion. What is the deal? What's the best way? What's this? You and I get asked that a lot, right? Of what should I be doing? What's the best food? What's the best way to do it?
Yeah, what's the only way? We hear all of these experts saying you should only be doing this and only be doing that, and everybody's like, but you just said something completely opposite. And everybody now, and me especially, is like, what do I believe? I have no idea, because we hear all these things, right, like that are happening in the human world. It's the keto diet, it's low carb, it's vegetarianism. There's so many things to do and nobody knows what's right. But I think what is actually right is how we all thrive on this. So how did we even get here?
Right. Well, and that's an interesting journey. And much like the idea behind the show is we're all taking a journey. Our dogs have taken quite a journey to get where they are today. You know, for thousands of years, they were hunting, they were eating what they caught, what the humans that they were with caught, what was left over as scraps. And so they were eating whole animals, they were eating the organs, they were eating the fur, the hair, and whatever that meal had eaten as well.
That's right. Whatever that rabbit, that squirrel had eaten prior that day, the dog also was eating as well. And you know, it brings us to this ancestral time where we hear that a lot. We always want to go back to what they were eating ancestrally, which is great, but then that might not work for your dog right now. So yeah,
and that's an important thing too, because look, I've gone low carb and keto and you know, dabbled in all these different things. It's easy for me to go, yeah, that's working, or it's not working. And so it's different though with the dogs, right?
Yeah.
Each dog that I've had has been different in their needs. And you know, when we talk about what their needs are and thriving, you know, that's my job.
What would you say thriving means to you?
That's a great question. And you know, really, I think that's the most important thing, right? Is what helps your dog thrive. To me, thriving is not looking down and going, okay, they look like the picture. They're not obese. Yeah, exactly. It's a great guide and a great starting point to make you more alert, but it's not the end all be all. To me, it's, okay, is, you know, in this case, Bella, my pup, is she healthy? Is she active? Is her fur and her skin, is it healthy? Is her, you know, gums and her teeth healthy? Do I see that brightness in her eyes? Do I see the energy there on a consistent basis? I know her better than anybody else does.
That's right.
And so I can tell sometimes when she's a little off. If I look at, you know, and I keep a little journal of what am I, you know, feeding? What are we doing? What's going on? And it's not always just what are we feeding. Sometimes it's, you know, what's going on in the environment that's impacting it. But I can quickly check those things. So thriving to me is more than, is she at a healthy weight? It is she the best being that I can help her achieve?
That's right, because we're all here to facilitate our animals' well-being, not necessarily to just put them on a scale and say this is it, but how can I make my dog exactly who she wants to be? And to me, that's also taking care of their mind and what's happening in our home environment as well. So it's checking myself, it's checking her, it's making sure that she not only is at the right weight and her teeth and her fur all look great, because those are great indicators, but it's also, how is her mood? Is she a little bit down today? Is she happy? Is she at this stable point where I think she likes to be every day? And then what are the things that I can do to help elevate that?
Well, and if we just go back to the nutrition side, because to me, nutrition is one of those pillars or bases that we build from. And, you know, so for thousands of years, it was that ancestral approach, and you ate what you caught, the scraps, etc. And then in the past few decades, it's now a more processed world. It's convenient, more so for us as humans. So as we talk about that,
that's a scoop and serve.
Yeah, scoop and serve. But the good thing about that is, no matter which path you're doing, you know, if you're doing raw, you're doing homemade, any approach you're taking, Kibble is obviously the most widely used because it is most convenient. But the good news is no matter which way you're going, you can elevate that. And I think that's the important thing. And I know we're going to dive a lot deeper into that.
Yeah,
with this
mind,
show.
body, soul, deep dive.
We're
everywhere,
going all over the place. And a lot of it is because that's what you all are asking, and we really appreciate it. It's really exciting for us. But for me, it's so simple to do one little tweak here, one little tweak there that doesn't take any extra time.
No.
We've already got it in our
kitchens. And you can easily see if you're doing one little thing at a time, how that ends up affecting your dog. And is it making them thrive more, or is it taking them back a little bit? So if you do just one easy thing at a time and you record everything you're doing, or you are like me, maybe everything's on video on Instagram, you can easily go back and see, okay, what happened that day? What was going on? So it can be easy.
Well, and I love that too, the notion of taking photographs and videos and all of that to document. We're in such a great time in human history where it is so much more easy to stay on top of things and to go A, B, and see a picture. Pictures tell thousands of words. Videos tell even more.
The essence. You don't really need to go a checklist, right? Is there everything looking good? But what's the overall essence here? And compare that to another day. And then you start to see what your baseline is, and you start to see, okay, what can I do to help this animal thrive?
So before we answer the question, I want you to share your favorite way. I'm going to share my favorite way.
Okay, so I've tried literally everything on my dogs because I couldn't find that one thing that made them just jive every single day. And eventually I came across a friend who was doing raw food, and I came to realize that my dogs didn't really do too well on carbohydrates. So when they were eating a lot of grains, they were always, just things weren't great. But ever since I transitioned to that, they've been thriving every single day. So that's what I do at home. What do you do at home?
Yeah, so I do a mix. With Bella, it's different than what I did with Sugar and Zoe. And I think that's really important. You've got multiple dogs in the household, or you're a bipedal family with dogs and cats. Each one of them may thrive on something different. For me, mine is, I do a lot of fresh ingredients. I do use some Kibble. I travel, and so I don't expect my wife and kids to be doing the home prepared meals that I do, the lightly cooking. We don't do raw. I have a daughter who has allergies. So it's just not something that's safe for the entire family, which is another thing you've got to think about, right? So, but there really is, and it's simple to elevate it, isn't it?
Yes. Oh my goodness. You can elevate any kind of food doing the same things. You could crack an egg over your Kibble, over your raw food, and there you go. You just elevated
Throw a piece of broccoli, sardines,
easy.
cauliflower.
Sardines, my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many easy things. So.
That's right. So it's actually really good to just hear what everybody's doing, and not taking it as the be-all, end-all, but to say, I wonder if that would work for me. I wonder if that would work for my dog. And then start to really use your gut and say, okay, this seems to make sense to me, and then try it out.
So I think the answer to can my dog survive dog food confusion is absolutely. There are so many anecdotes out there and research studies and great, wonderful experts who all have a favorite way of doing things. I think the real answer, though, is my favorite is the opportunity that gives my dog the best chance to thrive. And I think that's what we all need to do. One of the big things you and I talk about is inclusiveness. There are many ways to get to the same destination. And I know we're all trying and we're all doing our best. One of the things that you and I are trying to do with this show and so many other things is just show you a few different shortcuts, if you will, to elevate, improve, and get those outcomes that you're desiring.
Right. So, it's all about experimenting, with one thing at a time and seeing if it works.
Yep. All right, folks, thanks for joining us. Keep the questions coming. Come visit us. You can visit Nikki at
Life with Laker on Instagram.
And you can catch me at Pet World Insider on all the different social media channels. Thanks for joining us here on the Can My Dog Show.